Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the Storytime Podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial. Twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype. It's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Yeah, it's me. I know I've been gone a couple of weeks. Nice to be back. Hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona. I just got back, joined by my three partners, starting with the young man who celebrated a birthday on Christmas Eve, Ed Kaluka. Happy birthday, Ed.
Yeah, I'm 83 now.
And still with us and kicking good. And Dan Margetta of St. Francis, Wisconsin. Hope you had a nice Christmas.
Yeah, we did. Good morning. It's always nice when it's 47 and no snow. I kind of like Christmases like that, even though I go down south to get that, but it's kind of nice we got that in Wisconsin sometimes.
And Brian Schmidt of Oostburg, Wisconsin, whose cats ate the cake he baked for Christmas.
Right. Oh, I second what Dan says, especially what my line of work requires. I love a 50-degree green Christmas around here. This is perfect.
Yeah, I have to admit, I really liked it. By the way, it came to me, then one foggy Christmas Eve. Yeah, that's what it was, all right. It was perfect. I'd rather have fog than snow. Sorry, you can keep your white Christmases. We left yesterday afternoon.
But the way your brother passed, I'd be afraid of fog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think of it, Ed. I think of it every single time I drive when there's any fog whatsoever. Yeah, you're right. But that, a long time ago. 2002. Do you realize that was in 2002? Yeah, wow. 19 years ago already. Pretty crazy. Either way, glad you could join us this day after Christmas. We're going to have a kind of a special show for you today. Ed is going to talk to a Hall of Famer who's still around and also kicking. Dick Colburn is going to join us. Dick works with Ed over at Hefner Racing Products and has some pretty great stories about the old days. The first thing we'd like to say, though, here is that we're very concerned this morning. A longtime racer and friend of everyone in southeast Wisconsin's racing scene, Dennis Lampman, is hospitalized. We don't really know a heck of a lot except it's fairly serious. He's on a ventilator, and we don't believe it has anything to do with COVID. Although, again, we're not real sure. All we can do is read a Facebook post and try to figure out from there what's going on. He went in for some other surgery and had problems breathing after the surgery. So and the surgery wasn't major or anything like that. So we're thinking about Dennis. But boy, this for Christmas we're sure losing people right and left. Martha Earnhardt died on Christmas Eve. That was Dale Sr.'s mother, Ralph's wife, Dale Jr.'s grandmother. She passed away. Steve Richards, who was a mainstay at PRN, he was a pit reporter for the races whenever they were on PRN. He died of COVID. And Bob Keselowski, the 1989 ARCA champion, winner of 24 races in 12 years, I think is what it was. And of course, Brad's dad passed away. They kind of knew it was coming. It was it was cancer. Dan, he even said something a day or two he posted about the fact that his dad was on his last legs, huh?
Yeah, that was the brother Brian had kind of put that up towards the end there. So they had kind of known that was coming. Brad did also post. I think he's kind of is hitting him hard now after the fact. I mean, they had the services and that, and he had put a picture up on Twitter of his dad signing autographs, and he had said that he underestimated just how much this would hurt, after it's over. So they're taking it pretty hard.
Yeah, you might know it's coming, but it doesn't mean it makes it any easier. So he got to watch his son go from just a pup to a champion, and now a car owner in NASCAR. He watched that all the way through, and I think that's pretty special that he was able to do that. He, as he passed away, he knew the next chapter of his son's life too. So,
my best story about him is when Brad got turned on his head at Talladega or Daytona, was it?
Atlanta.
And he says, "I'm going to put a driver's suit on and go out and kill them guys myself."
That was when Carl Edwards did that. It Carl Edwards?
Yes, it was. It was a payback for Talladega, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a couple of them there for a while. They were back and forth, and I think it was after like the second or third one that Bob got mad enough to get on the air and say, knock it off, or I'm coming for you.
I can still remember that interview. He said something like, "He ain't going to kill my kid."
He was so mad he could barely get the words out. I mean, he was just so fit to be tied. Which rightfully so when you see that happen to your kid.
Isn't that funny, though? That's what we all remember of Bob Keselowski.
I remember him and Arca just always running the Chrysler products. He had the LeBaron when nobody else was running those things. I mean, he was Mopar all the way through, I think.
And, it's kind of hard to do that these days. You might want to be, loyal to one manufacturer. But the fact is that you can't always just stick with one manufacturer. It's not easy to do for a long career. You may at one time.
Talk about, thoughts with Dennis Lampman. Hope he pulls through that. I mean, a lot of people don't understand how active Dennis Lampman still is in the racing scene. I mean, he helps a lot of people behind the scenes that you probably don't know about, and that's the way he wants it. He doesn't want to be known about that. So, I mean, it's a big deal having Dennis Lampman around here on the racing scene and locally here. A lot of people don't see a lot he does behind the scenes.
Yeah. Or how smart he really is.
Yeah, he's at Slinger every week. I remember a very impassioned speech he gave at a drivers' meeting about 2-3 years ago about the direction that the driving styles have gone. And isn't that true that all of a sudden everybody thinks you just crashed somebody on the last lap and you're okay, you're good to go. When you're paying for things like that, and this is an expensive sport to be in, it's not, I mean, the crowd might get up and go, woohoo! But there's people that are going to have to go into their pockets, and it may or may not mean they're going to make it back because it's just such an expensive sport. And he talked about he had an episode with Dick Trickle one time, and he talked about Trickle and how, let's see, who was it? Jimmy Weber, Dan, and he was battling with somebody, and they were running into each other all the time and had some kind of on-track battle. And Trickle said, "Listen, you guys can do that all you want, but I do this for a living. This is not a hobby for me. And you're going to take me out one of these days, and things are going to get pretty ugly around here." That was pretty great. So we're thinking about Dennis and hoping everything goes well there. If you'd like to call the show, and God knows we could use the help today, you could call us probably in the last 2/3 of the show, thereabouts, at our Milwaukee number, 414-421-7901. And we'll talk about whatever you'd like to talk about in the world of racing. And things are getting ready. I've been, Ed, the only thing that I really noticed while I was gone is that the testing has advanced to the point where it sounds like they're pretty much ready to go. And we've got 120 horsepower we've added to that 550. It's going to be a 670 all the time, I guess, right?
Yeah, 670 all races except Talladega, Daytona.
And they're gonna test it at Atlanta the first week of January and determine what they're gonna do then. They're not sure exactly yet because the speeds at Atlanta might be so high that they need to tone her down a little bit. But we're gonna find that out January 5th and 6th, I believe, is when they're testing there.
Oh, okay. Well,
They're talking about a 4-inch spoiler, too.
a week from Thursday, Wednesday,
What do you-
Thursday. A spoiler.
Okay,
Yeah,
Ed.
what's up with that spoiler? How's that gonna affect it, Ed? Is that gonna?
Well, they want to put more air under the car and use the diffuser at full efficiency.
Well, it's about time we got that figured out because the season's right around the corner. We'll be back.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2022 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save, and it makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including NASCAR Cup Series, IndyCar, Moto America, and IMSA Sports Car. Don't wait. Get your 2022 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines. Just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
The manner in which he left, that probably bothered people the wrong way.
This isn't the first time Brian Kelly's done this. We talked about it yesterday. He did it to Cincinnati. Now he's done it to Notre Dame. If there's the one place that you're going to go where they're going to get rid of you before you leave them, even if you do win a national title, it is LSU.
Brady Quinn, LeVar Arrington, Jonas Knox. Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
Weekday mornings, 5 to 8 a.m. on the Big 920.
And welcome back to the program. Glad you could join us this day after Christmas and the final program of the year, actually. We will continue. And thanks to my partners here for doing the show when I came back for Christmas. Listen, I came back for Christmas. I didn't bring all my equipment with me because we had to drag the cat home with us because we had nowhere to keep the cat. So now I got a cat crapping in a box hanging over my shoulder, walking through the airport, people thinking it's me farting or something. And, all that drama. And of course he was quiet at least, but either way, that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. And thanks to you guys for doing the show in the last couple of weeks without me. I do appreciate that.
Are you going to the Clash at the Coliseum?
I plan on it. I haven't got a hotel yet. I can't imagine that there's going to be a lot of people coming in. Yeah, I suppose there would be, right? I mean, what is if I remember right, there's like 100,000 seats in that place, isn't there?
They renovated it. I think it's down to like 75 or 80 now. But if you were to go online on Ticketmaster and look for tickets, darn near all of them are sold. And they're like being resold for well over $100 now. I mean, you're talking some of the seats in the prime locations there, like on the straightaways, are like going for like $250. We were checking it out the other week at work. It was amazing. Mm-hmm.
That's not Super Bowl week, is it?
No.
No, it's the week before.
So maybe I'm not.
It's that in between week.
I waited too long.
Super Bowl is a week later this year. The Super Bowl is the week before the 500. So this would be that open week in between the championship games and the Super Bowl.
picked it out perfectly. And the Super Bowl is going to be in L.A., right?
Yes. So far. Yeah.
So that's going to be quite a so far it's going to be quite a place.
But they started working on it. If you saw any of the pictures of it, I mean, this is a major undertaking here. They tore the whole field out of there. That's a natural grass field that USC plays on every week. They tore that whole thing out of there, and it looks like they're going to pave, I think, the entire infield. It almost looks like. I thought maybe they're just going to put a track around the outside of it, like Bowman Gray. If you've ever seen Bowman Gray, they quit racing there at the end of August because Winston-Salem College plays football there, and they play football in the open area. It almost looks like your typical high school track with a football field in the middle. This year at the Coliseum, they took the whole thing out from the pictures I saw, and it looks like they're setting a grade, and they're going to pave it. So, I mean, they're going to do all that, and then I would imagine they're going to tear it all out as soon as that race is over, and I would imagine they'll have to, analyze it and see if it was worth the cost, because that's no cheap undertaking, putting a whole new, paving an entire infield of a stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be the overhead to do it. Return on investment, though, between national television and a full house of 70-some thousand or 80-some thousand people, it's probably going to pay for itself. Okay, then they're going to have to, tear out whatever they have there and make it back into a grass stadium again. Unbelievable.
Did you see that they're saying that 60% of those tickets are new fans? They figure people that have never been to a race before. Just from the LA.
That's what they want. I think it's really a great idea.
But what kind of show are we gonna put on? I mean, I think it's gonna be it'll be entertaining. I mean, I think it'll be tight on that track and maybe a ton of cautions. Is it something that's gonna draw people in next week for Daytona? Do you think, or do you think it's just gonna be kind of a one-off deal? Or
Did you see how tight those turns are?
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. Well, we'll have to live and learn on this first one and see if they'll ever do it again. All right, we've got on the phone with us the Hall of Famer that I remember from when he raced back at Hales Corner Speedway years ago and is modified, but he's been around the racing scene for many years. Dick Colburn joins us. Dick, welcome to Let's Talk NASCAR. Glad you could make it.
Thanks. Glad to talk to you.
Yeah, I want to talk to you this morning, Dick, about I was talking with Dennis Springs about a couple months ago, and he was telling me how great you were, the best driver he has ever seen. And I asked him why. And I want to ask you what your thoughts were about you being the best driver there ever was.
I wouldn't really say that, boys. There's a lot of people be ahead of me there. Dennis Springs' cars kind of made guys better drivers than they were, I think.
Well, one of the things he had to say was, actually, it was three things. You bring the car home in one piece, you win races, and you respect other drivers.
Yeah, that was always true.
That's a talent that a lot of people have learned.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of years, I paid for my own race car, so that kind of teaches you not to crash, And one thing is really weird about it. Something that always made me a smoother driver, I think, is the fact that I got motion sick real easy. I mean, places like when I raced Pogo's cars up at Oregon on High Bank Half Mile on the asphalt there, I'd get a yellow, and I just hated to scrub the tires because I didn't like that going back and forth stuff.
As long as it kept going forward right now. Now, Dick, I mean, you've raced all kinds of cars. You came up through the modified area all the way up into the sprint car days. Can you kind of talk about how it all changed from where you started to all the way through? I mean, you were there for a pretty big segment of the evolving, race car on the sprint car side.
Yeah, it was like in the early years when we built everything ourselves. I was really rewarding that way. And we'd race 5-6 nights a week. The cars were built so that you would race them 3-4 nights in a row without hardly touch them, wash them, and charge the battery. Whereas as you got into the sprint cars and stuff like that, boy, you just about disassemble them after every race, So it got to be a lot more work because they were lighter and more delicate, more horsepower. But the way the newer cars, the sprint cars, the way they jump off the corners, excuse me, is just a rush. Oh, I just love that.
Dick, we're going to be sneaking away to a break here because we had a little problem getting a hold of you in the beginning. Can you hang on through the break and we can talk to you some more?
Sure.
Yeah, Dick Colburn, the Hall of Fame famer, who's taking a little time to talk to us. We'll be back with Dick right after these.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
This is The Herd.
The winner in this is also
Colin Cowherd.
She's left at the altar. Here's what you always hear. It's not that they left, it's how they left. It's when they left. I mean, it was okay, but could he not given me a couple of extra months? I'd bought the flowers for the wedding. And you're hurt. Notre Dame football's going to be fine.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays after 11 on the Big 920 and Big920.com.
And welcome back to LTN. This day after Christmas, Hall of Famer Dick Colburn is joining us on this special episode.
Dickie, what era did you span from when to when?
Well, one thing I want to say is happy birthday. I don't know if everybody knows that. You're very close here. I actually started racing in 1964. Back in those days, you couldn't even get in the pits unless you're 21. So, excuse me. I was only 20 at the time, and I went up to Oregon. They had that little quarter-mile asphalt track there, and Sam Bardis ran it. And you showed up with a car. He didn't care if you were 10 years old. You raced, So I got to do a little racing there. But I actually started with MSC and the local track stuff in 65. And I raced up till 1996. So I had 33 years of driving, I guess. But even before I raced, I built Sportsmans for my brother, Charlie. We raced at Hales Corners. And then I bought a modified from Gene Schwister. And I wasn't old enough to drive it. Paul Schomburg drove it for me. So I'd drive it up to the pit gate, get out and walk up to the stands, and they'd take the car and go race,
Wow. Well, today you head up the department at Hefner Racing Products, manufacturing and building of mules.
Yeah, I started back when I quit racing in 96 there. I started helping Todd with his sprint cars because I just still had the racing bug, and stuff like that, And it got to where they had 2 410s and 2 360s, one for each for Todd and Troy. And he said, well, we might as well hire you full-time here just to work on this stuff. So I worked on the race cars most of the time. And then we started, and I don't remember the exact year, Todd designed this pit vehicle. He used the Kawasaki Mule because they had the best frame arrangement to build this big toolbox on the back. And somebody said, "Oh, where'd you get that?" I said, "Well, we built it ourselves." "Could you build me one?" Well, sure. And then that started it. And a couple of years ago, Brad Dottie said once on one of his TV programs, he says if you aren't if you don't own an HRP mule, you haven't arrived yet. I always thought that was quite a compliment.
Wow.
But they get now to where we're building, 25 a year, and it's surprising. I sold one to Freddie Raymer a few years back, and he said to me, he says, my sponsor wanted to buy me this, and he said, I told him, man, he said, I got better places to spend $25,000, and he said, but I wouldn't be without it now. He says, man, things are handy. So it's got to be a real niche, and we built one for a boat racer, and we built a couple for go-kart guys.
Well, next year we're going to be taking them up to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and I know that the crew at Elkhart is very interested in what's going to happen with this mule. And I think it's going to be a big hit up there at Road America for these June sprints, and them guys are pitted so far away from the pit area. To have something like this, it would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean they can carry everything you need, really. I mean, we carry spare front ends, rear ends, generators, compressor in there, 16 different tool drawers and other compartments, and they're really cool.
Well, thanks for beating us with this morning, Dick. I just wanted to get a little bit of that background with Tom Pogo and Dennis Springs and yourself as a Hall of Famer. It's a pretty cool career you've had.
Yeah, I thank you. I really appreciate it, and I just want to thank Dennis Springs for that comment. I know Tom Pogo always told me the same thing too. He said he was so happy that he liked me to drive for him because I always brought the car back in one piece. So. I don't remember
the value
John
of that
Haydock.
is kind of hard to underestimate, Dick. They love drivers that bring the car home.
Yeah. I had one other guy that, if you got 2 seconds, I'll tell you this quick.
Go ahead.
John Haydock, I don't know if people remember him. He had a yellow number 21 sprint car. And Kenny Schrader drove that car for all USAC races. When he started getting into NASCAR stuff, John called me and said, well, when Kenny's gone, he says, would you be interested in running the car with a wing? Well, that was top-notch equipment, so I jumped at that, But it was really neat. Whenever we get ready for a race, I'd sit and ready to get pushed off or whatever, he'd come up and pat my shoulder and say, have fun, but don't wreck it.
That's pretty good. Well, Dick, we're glad you took a little time to talk with us, and best of luck to you. And you work with Ed. That's pretty good right there.
Oh, heck yeah. That guy's got such a wealth of knowledge. I don't get much done. I just love to listen to his stories.
Oh, he's got some too. Dick, thanks for being on with us. We sure appreciate it. And Merry Christmas and have a nice New Year's.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
You bet. Dick Colburn, the Hall of Famer that I remember from the day back at Hales Corner Speedway. It was pretty great to have seen him race and to have him on the program. So awesome. And if you'd like to participate in this program, you can do so at 414-421-7901. And we will talk about, whatever you'd like to talk about, really. There's not a heck of a lot going on. I see that. And I tell you what, we'll talk about that after we do the next break. There's a couple different things that are cooking out there. Not too many at this point of the year, but what really gets me is that they have no idea. Here we are, Christmas and New Year's time, and we're getting ready to start a season, and we really don't know exactly what rules we're going to put on these new cars yet. Did you guys happen to notice that they talked this last week to a couple of old drivers and asked them what they thought about it? It was pretty good.
This holiday season, help support your community by taking part in Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin's Food for the Holidays, presented by Pick and Save and Metro Market. 1 in 7 people in our state struggle with hunger. Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin is on a mission to end hunger and make sure everyone has access to nutritious foods. A $1 donation provides 4 meals to a local family. Visit feedingamericawi.org to learn more. You could put a hot meal on the table of a neighbor in need. feedingamericawi.org.
Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the #Storytime Podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial. Twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of #Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
They wish that they could drive these cars, and so I guess it isn't scaring too many people away. It's putting the talent back into the driver's hands. That's what they're saying about it, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, if you watch some of the testing, the cars get out of shape. I mean, the cars are not easy to drive. You have to get off the throttle, and I think that's going to really help a lot. Always, I want to find a quote that Keselowski had said, because they were saying that, like last week, Brian had said that the leader wasn't getting. It was hard to pass the leader still. That was still kind of an issue they were working on. But back in the pack, the cars were really getting out of shape. And Corey LaJoie put on Twitter to quote Keselowski, "If you're not going to have any passes for the lead, at least let's have some guys back them in the fence."
I think even Carl Edwards was talked this week. Somebody talked to him about it, and he said these cars look real interesting to him. Now you got to remember, Carl's been out of the car. Oh, that's got to be at least 5 years already, I would guess. So you got some guys who are really interested in it, and then you got the other side of them, guys like Ryan Newman and some of those who are a little reserved, wondering how the things are going to wreck and what's going to happen when you wreck them. And like we said last week, once they get to Daytona and they test them there, if some are able to go into the fence, which you don't want to see happen, but you'd like to get some data to know what you got going on before you get to the actual race weekend.
And they asked Edwards, "It looks so fun to drive. Maybe you want to come back?" He said, "No." There you go. We'll be back.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2022 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save, and it makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including NASCAR Cup Series, IndyCar, Moto America, and IMSA Sports Car. Don't wait. Get your 2022 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This,
keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
Coming into this season, the big concern with the Cowboys was going to be their defense because they certainly struggled on that side of the ball in 2020. And with Micah Parsons there, what's going to be curious is how he is labeled. You want to be an edge rusher. Now all of a sudden you go, I want TJ Watt money.
Dan Patrick. The Dan Patrick Show.
Weekday mornings after 8 a.m. on the Big 920 and Big920.com.
And welcome back to the program. Thanks for joining us this day after Christmas. As a special Christmas bonus to Gibbs Racing, M&M's has told them they're not coming back. This is actually they're going to be with them all this season, but the 2022 season will be the last for M&M Mars. And we were looking, we did a little research. Kyle went over to Gibbs in 2008, and now M&M's was on the car with Kyle ever since. However, if you remember, they were around before Kyle got over there. Was it Ernie Irvin that had the 36 car first?
Yeah, I think in '98 they came in the 36 car with Skittles, and then it was like M&M's, and then it went to Yates for a while. On the
Didn't Schrader have them too, right, for a little while?
drove
Yes.
that 30 car for a while. Yeah.
She was on Schrader's car when he crashed with Earnhardt.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Mars has been in the sport a long, long time. I mean, I think Snickers is a Mars product, right? And they've been. I mean, Trickle drove the Snickers car.
Trickle was a Snickers driver. Yeah.
1990, I think the Snickers number 8 car was out there. So they've been around for a long, long time.
It's interesting that a company that is as successful as Mars Candy Company is, and has used this as a tool for their advertising for 30 plus years, suddenly decide that this is not where they want to be anymore.
And they're not going to another team. It sounds like they're leaving the sport altogether. That's why they kind of spun it as some positives, but I can't see anything positive on this. I mean, this is a long-time sponsor, and it's an identifiable one. I mean, look how many kids became NASCAR fans because of an M&M's car. I mean, that was a thing that drew kids right away, was that M&M's car. They were able to pick that out all over the place.
And they stuck with Kyle Busch through many of his controversial actions over the years too, which says a lot for him. I think that didn't probably do as much for the kids, but the adults had to say, how about that? It's as much of a goof as he can be sometimes, and M&M stuck with him through the lean times too. There was so. I think the sport's going to miss them. They really have been good for NASCAR, and obviously for them to have hung around this long, NASCAR's been good for them. So
curious to see where they go or what they do, what other sport they're going to get involved in. I mean, another thing was that their deal was pretty high. I thought it was like $18 to maybe $20 million a year. I mean, Kyle was one of the highest paid drivers the last couple of years because his deal was done before the whole reset kind of deal.
Yeah, imagine that, a long-term deal.
55 wins and 2 cup titles with that. That's pretty good exposure for sponsoring a car to get that many wins. A lot of sponsors can't say that.
Amen to that. So you wonder to yourself, well, I wonder who's going to take the place of Mars Candy Company on that car, M&M's. That's a pretty big deal. Well, is it just a coincidence that lately we're seeing Kyle Busch, at least I saw him on Facebook, touting how great Breathe Right nasal strips are and how he uses them under his helmet to hold his nose passages open while he's racing and all this. And is that just a coincidence that it's coming up right about the same time that M&M's is leaving? I don't know. We'll have to keep a close eye on that one. But either way, another sponsor to leave. And let's see, Aaron gave us a very nice list of some of the big sponsors that have taken off during the last few years. And it's almost scary when you think about it. How many are there? The UPS, Old Spice, Domino's, Home Depot, Lowe's, Office Depot, Budweiser, National Guard, Dollar General. Where'd they go?
Back in the day, we got in trouble with Jay Fry. Remember that name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who started that company that Ernie Irvin was going to drive for. And
36 car?
Yeah, Michael was he was going to the 36 car also, and he gave us the driver, and we told him that on our show that Ernie Irvin was going to be driving a 36 car, and they went nuts because nobody knew that was going to happen. And now he's the president of IndyCar.
Yeah, that's right. Matter of fact, he was at a press conference here when they announced that they were going to redo the racetrack out here in Phoenix. Jay Fry was there. I didn't really, because IndyCars. That's right, IndyCar was racing here at the time, weren't they? They had one race a year. Yeah, and I went over and I said, I'm Ed Kaluka's radio partner. Hey, we sat there and talked for a while. A very cool guy, no doubt. And now he's in charge of IndyCar. Imagine that. Nice kick in the pocketbook there, right, Ed?
Oh yeah, and he's the one who, as soon as Michael passed, that he got a hold of us, and that he wants to do a tribute to Michael, a golf outing next year in his honor.
No kidding. Oh, that's fantastic. Ed, you're going to have to learn how to golf.
I played golf in high school.
Oh, so you're all warmed up. Never mind.
Bring your crash on. What's that? It's playing golf.
Oh boy. That's really cool, no doubt. And if anyone would like to participate, as I might have mentioned, this would be the time to do it at 414-421-7901. And Greg is waiting for us, or did he disappear? He's on. All right. Hi, Greg.
Hello.
How are you? Sorry to make you wait so long.
I've been with you for over 30 years. You were my postman. You celebrated 50 years of marriage. I've been with you a long time.
How about that? Yes, sir.
Hey, listen,
and by the way, that's why we came home early for Christmas, too, by the way. Marge and I had a little party celebrating 50 years together. So, yes. Anyway, go ahead.
I want to run a list past you. Logano, Harvick, Hamlin, Elliott, and Kyle Busch. They've been all involved in controversy this year with either fights or taking people out. Who's going to be the bad guy carryover for 2022?
If Hamlin hasn't etched his name in that job description, I don't know who else would. What do you guys think?
It's going to be whoever doesn't or isn't able to adapt to these new cars. Usually, the people that usually have the most controversy are the people that aren't usually having a good year. You know, Harvick this year because he wasn't having a real good year. So, you know, that's going to be the deal there. If you can't get these cars figured out and you're going to get ornery with it and start, you know, moving people around, you never know. But with them racing at the Coliseum, that could start right away because that's going to be a pushing and shoving event there. So you're going to see all kinds of people irritated at each other there.
Yeah, I think Hamlin kind of wore that black hat bad guy thing towards the end of the last year in the last couple of races. But maybe I mean, Joey doesn't come off as a bad guy in the interviews, but when he gets behind the wheel, I think he just cuts
nobody. Maniac.
Yeah, he cuts nobody. He'd wreck his mom to win a race, I think, and that might cause some controversy.
Oh well, I don't see it being Elliott. Let's put it that way. If that's where you're steering this, Craig.
No, not at all. There's, like I said, been a lot of fights this year, and more so probably than ever. So, just wondering.
You bet. Hey, thanks for calling. Good to hear from you, Greg. And we'll sneak away. We'll be back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2022 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save, and it makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including NASCAR Cup Series, IndyCar, Moto America, and IMSA Sports Car. Don't wait. Get your 2022 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
This is The Herd.
The winner in this is also
Colin Cowherd.
Steph is also really smart. And smart people and smart athletes always all do one thing. They tweak, they adjust. You don't think Steph would have adjusted in the 80s to the hand check? I think he would have figured it out. He's one of the smartest players ever, one of the best ball handlers ever. Yeah, I don't think any of that stuff would work in the 80s.
This is The Herd.
And the story out today.
Weekdays after 11 on the Big 920 and Big920.com.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Yeah, the extremely short offseason for dirt track racing is going on right now, but there's still some news out there. As it was announced this week that Casey Kane is going to run a full World of Outlaws schedule next season in his own car. Casey made 32 starts last season with the World of Outlaws and decided he's going to run for Rookie of the Year next year with the World of Outlaws. So that's pretty cool news and a big name for the World of Outlaws to have at every race next season. So, Dan, it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to do it there because his results have kind of been mixed when he does run with them.
And he's a rookie?
Yeah, he's going to run for Rookie of the Year.
I saw they got sponsorship from Caravan Trailers, which is a company from around here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good team because Brad Sweet has won a championship, many, many times with Casey Kane Racing. So we'll see. He'll make his first start down at Volusia Speedway Park in February. And the rest of the dirt racing stuff, the dirt late models get going right away next week. There's going to be racing in Seymour, Tennessee on January 1st. And some racing out in Arizona also on January 1st. And then we get right to it.
Dirt fans will be there.
That's good. And then we're going to get right to it the following week, the 7th and the 8th, the Ice Bowl at Talladega, Alabama. And then on the 8th, the Wild West Shootout gets started this year, which is going to be in Vado, New Mexico. So it'll be interesting to see how many guys make the trip out there for that. But very short off season, and they'll get at it right away next week.
Next weekend, of course, is New Year's weekend, and they have out here at Canyon Speedway in Peoria, Arizona, they have what they call the 1K one-day race. It's going to be interesting. They've got a New Year's Eve party. If you want to come out, let's see, that would be Friday night. They've got a barbecue dinner and all that sort of thing, and it's $40, but you get a pit pass for Saturday. With the New Year's Day racing, it's $1,000 to win. All divisions are $100 to start. They've got SWDRA late models, modified sport mods, stock cars, hobby stocks, and it starts at 3 in the afternoon. The racing does, and that's New Year's Day. And yes, Marge and I are going out there to watch some racing. So,
and for now, that's the only track going in the greater Phoenix area because the Arizona Speedway shut down after the Copper Classic in November. So until they get another facility going, Canyon is the only one you got in that area.
And it's funny because not really funny. It's kind of sad. They switch promote. Like the land sits there. Somebody owns it, I guess. And what they do is anybody that comes up and says, I'd like to rent the track and put on a race, they rent it to them. So you get different promoters coming and going all the time for different events. It's not a full-time racetrack, even though I'm looking at their website here and they're announcing one of the local Chevy dealers is going to be a full-time track sponsor for next season. And they've got other sponsors too, so maybe they're planning on putting something together. Why wouldn't you if you're the only dirt track in the 5th largest metro area in the country here in Phoenix?
Your family's health is important to you and to us at the new Ascension Wisconsin Hospital in Waukesha. Emergencies can't wait. We're open 24/7 with inpatient and emergency care, imaging, and labs. Check in online and let us know you're on your way at ascensionwisconsinhospital.org.
Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the #Storytime Podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of #Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, and there's good race fans out there. They usually show up when there's racing.
Yeah.
And then the Chili Bowl, 100% on flow. Get to watch it all.
When is that?
It's second or third week, second week of January, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it starts the 10th, and the finale is on the 15th.
Ah.
And don't they run that street stock race down in South Carolina on New Year's Day? I think James Swan was going to run that again.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. That's true. What was
I
that?
just
Dillon?
saw him.
Is that Dillon Motorsports Park?
I just saw him, and yes, he did confirm that he's going to go down there and race. So, in fact, I said we'd probably talk to him either on his way there or on his way back. Depends how he does. But yeah, he goes down every year. Well, his dad lives in South Carolina, and he uses that as a kind of a place to stay and base himself out of, and he drives some other guy's car down there, so it works out pretty good for him. Dillon, did you say? Is that where that is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right, very good.
I don't know if you've seen the SRL, which is like they promote the races in the Southwest super late model races. They're trying to have some races east of the Mississippi this year. They have the 2 races at Berlin already on their schedule. It was like their Money in the Bank, and I can't remember what the other second one was. They announced one this week that's going to be in Florida on February 12th. It's going to be at Citrus County Speedway. It's 105, 15,000 to win, 125 lap race, and it's actually a day that the super lates are off at the World Series at New Smyrna, so it won't conflict with that. But interesting thing there is they got 3 more in the works, so they're looking to have a 6-7 race schedule, and they got 3 announced now, the one in Florida, 2 at Berlin, and maybe 3 more around the area somewhere. It's kind of a little bit of a competition to CRA. I think Ricky Brooks is behind that. I think that's you have CRA down there, and Ricky Brooks' group coming through. So we'll see where what that schedule shapes and where they'll go there.
Say, fellas, I'm sure you talked about this while I was on my break, but that St. Louis indoor dirt race at their Coliseum where the Rams used to play, they ran all kinds of different divisions there. And I'm thinking about this LA Coliseum Busch Clash that's coming up and how tight, absolutely insanely tight the turns are. And then I think of that St. Louis track, which was a 1/5 mile track, and they were running dirt late models in there. It was ridiculous. They were driving over each other constantly. Is that what we're going to see at the Coliseum in LA?
Well, the Coliseum is going to be a little bigger because it is a bigger footprint.
But the turn, man, did you see the turn?
Yeah, it'll be a little wider too because they're going to have a concrete wall and a fence. So I think they're going to run right up to the edge, right up to where it was. Dirt there, they had to have a lane all the way around it. Insurance told them they had to have it wider. So I think it's going to be a little bit closer to a quarter mile because the Coliseum was actually stretched out. There's going to be more straightaways there. If you ever looked at an aerial shot of a football game at the Coliseum, the football field was tucked a little bit more towards the one end than the other. Like if where the columns are and where the torch always was for the Coliseum, they had a big space, and then the stands were put in front of that yet during a football game. So you're going to have more space than what you had in St. Louis for that dirt race.
Well, I mean, a 5th mile in St. Louis was kind of ridiculous, but yeah, I think it should be a lot better that way. But my God, we'll see how they turn. That's for sure. Getting off the turn, yeah, that's all you're going to be able to do. We'll be back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Attention race fans, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin now has 2022 season passes available at discount pricing. The earlier you buy, the more you save, and it makes a great gift for yourself or the motorsport enthusiast on your list. This includes over 50 days of action-packed racing, including NASCAR Cup Series, IndyCar, Moto America, and IMSA Sports Car. Don't wait. Get your 2022 Road America season discounted passes today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
This,
keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
Even an MVP candidate. I normally don't talk about it week to week, but you start to think, who is the MVP? Is it Brady? Kyler Murray's missed a couple of games, but it's not going to be Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to give it to Aaron Rodgers. That might be Tom Brady. Unless somebody says, what about Micah Parsons?
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Weekday mornings after 8 a.m. on the Big 920 and Big920.com.
Why wouldn't they give it to Rodgers? What the hell's wrong with him? Oh, welcome back to the program. Dan, one of the highlights of my being home for Christmas was I got to watch Channel 4, and I saw Dan Margetta on Channel 4, the Weekend Warriors segment. Very cool.
That was pretty neat. I mean, that was something that was actually filmed a while ago back in May, and then kind of just put on the sideline, I guess, for a while, and they brought it back, and I kind of almost forgot about doing that, and it was kind of neat to do. I mean, it was fun. Yeah, I guess. Brian, there's a couple things going on at some racetracks around, right?
Yeah. One of the big ones that was kind of surprising was, we had talked several weeks ago about how North Carolina was giving money to racetracks to do stuff at Rockingham and North Wilkesboro. Well, some of the details are coming out now. And Rockingham, they're going to completely repave the place, and they're going to light it. It's going to be a $9 million project, and that kind of gets you thinking. You're going to spend all that money. We haven't seen them light a racetrack. I think maybe Chicagoland was the last track to actually get lights, if I think correctly, and that was back in 08 or 09. I mean, thinking about this, they haven't had a cup race there since 2004. Do you really think they're going to do anything there? Why are you spending all that money and putting all them lights on there?
Exactly.
Unless they're getting lights from a track that they're taking down, but it's still a lot of money to bring them over there. But I guess, what do you think they're going to do there? Do you think they're going to run trucks in Xfinity there eventually, or why would they be putting all this money in there? They must have something in mind.
With that kind of investment, you can't just say, okay, well, maybe we can attract a weekly racing program. Are you kidding me? $9 million for lights and a repave of a 1 mile high bank track. There's got to be something that they've got some agreements made already. Because why just pour money, right? Like Wilkesboro, same thing.
I mean, it'd be great to see. I'd love to see maybe an Xfinity race or a truck race there. Are they going to get people there? You don't know. They don't seem to draw on their own standalone events these days lately, but maybe something like that would spark some excitement, and maybe some people would be there and watch it.
It's quite of an investment to hope that they do, right?
That's what I would think.
Tax money is what they're using. Think about that. It's not private investment. This is public money. I just don't get started.
And the other news this week was they finished Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's been completely done. It took 163 days to complete it. It's all paved now. It's 28 degrees. And if you've seen any of the video on what the surface they put there, it's an interesting type of aggregate where the water will be able to go right in between the aggregate, so you don't have weepers anymore. It's really interesting. I wish I could get a better look at it, because I kind of, I'm kind of in the paving business in the summertime, and it's really interesting to see how this stuff works. But it's almost like a porous type of surface where the water, if you have water coming out of the safer barriers, which a lot of time what you have after a major storm, instead of the water running all the way down the surface, the water will go into this porous surface, so the top will stay dry. It's going to be very interesting to see how this works, see how the tire, I think that's why a tire test is going to be so important. Because if you look at an up-close shot of the stuff, it looks very abrasive, but yet they say it's not going to be. So this test here in a couple weeks is going to be interesting to see how this new technology works and how the tires wear on it.
I think the best thing possibly would be is if it was kind of abrasive and that caused more. I mean, that was what was great about those Atlanta races. It was so bad that you had to calculate your entire strategy around tire wear. Before you'd run out of tires before you'd run out of gas.
How fast they go at Atlanta? I mean, last time they paved Atlanta, they went super fast. It became the fastest track on the circuit, faster than Daytona and Talladega. We didn't restrict them back then, So what do you think the speeds will be?
Yeah, that's the issue. They're they got to keep it under 200 miles an hour, right? That's the whole thing.
I think that's why they don't know either. That's why when you used to repave it, you knew you have a really smooth, surface with a ton of grip. You knew what the speeds were going to be. I think that's why they really don't know what they're going to get when they get to roll the cars out there, because this is so different. It's not that, smooth as a billiard table type surface where you're going to get all the grip. It's a little more porous, so you're going to see how the tires do. If you're interested in seeing what they have here, there's a little video on Atlanta Motor Speedway's website that goes through how the whole process works. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it later and see what it is, but it talks about how they put the surface down and what it's going to be like and the technology behind it. It looks really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
1997 when they repaved that.
97?
Jeff Bodine said on the pole was 197 some miles an hour. So.
Remember Ted Musgrave when he raced at that track for the first time? He said it had to do with the pucker. There was a pucker
factor.
Pucker factor. That was it. You dive so deep into the turn until you could feel the pucker. Ah, boy, that was fast. And now with these cars, I mean, if they didn't restrict them whatsoever, how fast would they go, Ed? Do you have any clue?
I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll start out and then we'll restrict it from there. 670 horse, tiny spoilers, new pave, 1.5 miles. Woo-ha! Everybody comes out of it all right. Unbelievable. What's up with Carl Edwards coming out all of a sudden? You think he's thinking about coming back? I mean, he said he didn't, but why? I mean, he's still trying to stay relevant for no reason.
I think somebody asked him because with Brad taking over with Roush. I mean, they might have asked. Somebody must have found him and asked his opinion on it, and then he got a bunch of interviews. He's pretty adamant about not coming back to drive, though. So
okay, all right. Well, nothing wrong with coming back and being interviewed, I guess. What do you think, Carl? Gentlemen, we've had a great season here on WOKY, and we can't stress enough how much it's important for all of our listeners and sponsors to know how much we appreciate all of them. And it's we can't do this without the wonderful people that tune in to us every week, both on WOKY and on our website and on Facebook and all that. Road America and Mike Kircher and Casey Wagner at Wagner Automotive and Mike Egan at Bonafide Security Solutions and Jerry, Tom, and Brad Miller at Miller Sales and Service and Froggy over at PMF Landscape Supply, one of the greatest sponsors short track racing has ever known. Jerry, I'll be at Dells Raceway Park, and thanks for letting us do the show there even. And Bob Sargent at Track Enterprises, all those folks. We do appreciate everything you do for us, and we'd like to thank Aaron Baird for being our researcher, Paul Reichert for helping us out with all the results every week, and our listeners, man, we can't thank you enough. It's been a great year, and we'll be back to start another season, our 38th season, next Sunday. So be sure to tune in. Until then, please remember that real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and king of the knobs is Matt Hangover Losi. Hope you had a great Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
Hey, do you love a good story? Great. Then you got to check out the #Storytime Podcast. Each episode brings you the craziest, creepiest, and cringiest stories from YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and beyond.
My story is about the time that I was broken up with at the 9/11 memorial. Twice.
Look, the internet is a dumpster full of stories, and I, your host, Will McFadden, dive in headfirst, sift through the flaming trash, and bring you nothing but treasures. Listen to all 21 episodes of #Storytime now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.